Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the 2030 Electoral College map. Now, for those of you who don't know, in 2030 we will be getting a new map, and we just got our first forecast for what some of the numbers might be in terms of what states are gaining and what states are losing. And I have to say, the consequences and reality for both the Democrat Party and for the GOP is truly earth-shaking. Now, obviously, we're still 5 years away from this map being a possibility, so anything can happen. It could change any day. And with that being said, if you guys are interested in learning more about politics, remember to leave a like on the video, hit that red subscribe button, and smash that notification bell to never miss out on another upload. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this possibility for the Electoral College. The first thing I would like to quickly do is just show kind of a more clear map as to what states are gaining and losing. Now, California, Illinois, and New York are all losing more than one electoral vote, and the rest of the states in yellow are each losing one electoral vote. New York's losing 3, Illinois is losing 2, and California is losing 4. Now, the states in green are all at least gaining one electoral vote, with the obvious exception being Texas and Florida. Florida is gaining 3 and Texas is gaining 4. Now, if we take this current map we have right now, and let's just say we have a scenario where it's Newsom versus Vance, and let's go with the current margins we have from this last election cycle. Right off the bat, we can give a lot of the Deep South to J.D. Vance, and just a lot of these states that Trump already won by a safe margin. He's going to win them by a safe margin again in this scenario, and honestly, we could just say that this would be the immediate floor. Actually, you could even add Ohio in, because it's his home state, as the bare base for the GOP. And the funny thing about this is the GOP is currently netting more electoral votes as safe electoral votes than Kamala Harris won this last election cycle. And that includes the lean and likely states she carried. And that, to me, when you look at that right there, is a pretty big warning sign that the Democrat Party is going to have some problems. Now, let's go ahead and give these some of these West Coast states and the Pacific states to Gavin Newsom, Colorado. Maybe he does a little worse in Illinois. He does worse in New York, worse in New Jersey, the Mid-Atlantic, and the New England states. They're all going to go blue. These are deep blue states. No matter who's at the top of the ticket, it's going to be a region that the Democrats are going to do well in. Let's say he wins Nebraska second, he wins Maine at large, he wins New Hampshire, and he carries obviously states like Virginia, New Mexico, and Minnesota. That's pretty much where all of the gains for the Democrat Party are going to stop, and that's with every single state that Harris was able to carry this last election cycle. Now, when we go to Vance, let's say he does about as well as Trump did in Arizona. I think he will do better in Arizona than Trump did. And let's just say, Arizona, we'll be generous and say it's a likely state for the GOP. And same deal with North Carolina. Mark Robinson was a drag this last cycle. North Carolina is fundamentally a red state. And obviously we have Maine's 2nd congressional district. I think this is one that will hover at like 10, 11 points. But right off the bat, just look at this here. Vance is at 258 electoral votes. The problem is, for the Democrat Party, is if Vance carries Georgia, he's at 275 electoral votes. He just won the election. The big deal with this map is it will allow the GOP to just focus on the Sun Belt and not worry about the Rust Belt. Hypothetically, the GOP never has to win Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Nevada. All states, by the way, which I believe that Vance would be favored to win if he was at the top of the ticket, especially against somebody like Gavin Newsom. But just look at this here. Back in this last election cycle, Harris, she could have won with the 3 blue wall states by a narrow margin, but it would have still been a win. But instead, obviously we know Trump, he carried all 3 states, but in this scenario, it doesn't really matter. Even if Gavin Newsom somehow is able to beat J.D. Vance in his home region and is able to win Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, and is able to flip all 3 of these states back in his column, and let's say he's able to carry Nevada, he still is not going to have enough electoral votes to win the election. That is how awful this map is for the Democrats. And let's be real. J.D. Vance is probably going to be able to win a state like Nevada. He's going to carry the Rust Belt. That's the bottom line. And you know what? Pennsylvania, if the Amish continue to vote in Pennsylvania, it's going to become tougher and tougher for the Democrats to win. The best equivalent to how bad this map is for the Democrat Party is if Trump had managed to win the state of Washington. That puts him at 324, and obviously Vance in this scenario is at 324. That is just how damaging this map is. And obviously we know Trump would never win Washington state, but that's just goes to show the Democrats in this scenario, they're losing the Washington equivalency of that many electoral votes in this map, if this is the map. And it's no laughing matter. For the reference, they are losing more electoral votes than my home state of Wisconsin is worth. That is not a laughing matter for the Democrat Party. And the bottom line is that someone like Gavin Newsom's going to struggle in, a place like Minnesota, or let's say New Mexico, or maybe even New Hampshire. He's going to really struggle in a place like New Jersey and, maybe not Virginia, but at the end of the day, Vance could flip Minnesota. He could flip New Mexico, and that puts him at 338. The Democrat Party, it wasn't that long ago that they were laughing about the GOP being locked out of power, and look at this map. It looks to me like the Republican Party will be locking the Democrat Party out of power for at least quite some time, at least 20 years at this rate, because when you look back at, let's say 2012 to 2016, this is what the GOP had to work with. The states that are, kind of left blank here, Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, and Iowa, these were the states that were considered to be ultra competitive. If you were a Republican in this scenario, you had to beat the Democrats in ultra competitive Iowa and Ohio and North Carolina and in Florida, and you're still not at 270. You still have to win a Rust Belt state at this point, because you can't win with Colorado. That puts you at 269. You can't win with, obviously, Nevada. So you're stuck winning a Rust Belt state. And these states, at that time, they favored the Democrats. And pretty much the Democrats thought, well, we're guaranteed to always win. And then, after 2020, they saw what happened in Texas, and they're like, well, maybe we can just, win Texas. That's what they were talking about doing back in, like, let's say, 2020. They were like, oh, well, we just win Texas, and, we're pretty much good to go, but, we'll win Texas and maybe Nevada, and we win the election. Well, that obviously never happened. Texas was solid, and Nevada was not even close in terms of some of the states that were closer. And you look at this here, and you can see just how screwed the GOP was back in 2016 and in 2012. You look at the map now, and this is what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a map that could look very much like this. The bottom line is that the Democrat Party is screwed, and then when you look at where all of the people are coming from, it does not bode well. The states that are all on the losing end here are all Democrat-governed states. Every state in yellow is run by a Democrat. The only two states in green that are governed by a Democrat currently are North Carolina and Arizona. And Arizona, Katie Hobbs is probably going to go pretty soon here. And I would say North Carolina was only a blue state this time at the gubernatorial level this time just because of the Mark Robinson scandal. You look at this map here, the Democrats, they're screwed. If this is the map, they're screwed. They're done. The Republicans can focus on winning states like New Hampshire, making New Jersey a possible flip. I mean, we could seriously see a reverse 2008 where this is the map, maybe even Maine at large. This would be an absolute blowout for the GOP, and this would pretty much be the end of the Democrat Party if this happened. But as of right now, this is obviously a, kind of a, far-flung dream. I believe that, maybe something like this, maybe, I don't know, something like this, this, maybe New Jersey is more competitive. I don't know about New Hampshire, Maine at large, I don't know. But at the end of the day, regardless of whether or not someone like J.D. Vance would be able to expand in terms of flipping more states, this shift puts the Democrat Party in a position where they're not going to be able to win an election without winning a tough Republican state like North Carolina, Arizona, and obviously there's Georgia. But at the end of the day, the Rust Belt is pretty much guaranteed to stay at least very competitive, and in the case of Pennsylvania and maybe Michigan or Wisconsin, at least lean more Republican than in prior years past. With that being said, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, remember to leave a like on the video, hit that red subscribe button, and smash that notification bell, and I will be releasing more political content in the future. With that being said, have a good day.